I think we both know who's going to win the MVP.
Do we?
As much as we don't want to talk about it or don't want to say it, James Harden's been the MVP since day one.
Yeah, discussion's pretty much over. It's James Harden.
Like,
there's a few other nominees out there, though.
They're nominees, but they're definitely fighting for second place.
They're like more honorable mentions than nominees.
No doubt.
So, I have Anthony Davis, the brow. Like,
that's a fair nominee.
Boogie Cousins goes down. This guy's like, man, it's my team.
We gotta go. It's
like,
time to go.
Yeah. And he's just been playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to put him in the mix. Like, when he's healthy, on a nightly basis, he's top 3 in the league. I think on a night by night basis, when he's like, he's ridiculous. Yeah. And I think with all of his injury problems throughout his career, we're always, as fans, looking for the next best thing. Mm-hmm. And when Porzingis comes into the league, Embiid, we're all like, oh, forget Anthony Davis. Let's look at these guys. Well, and I think we've forgotten how good Anthony Davis is.
Well, last year you asked GMs about taking a guy under 25 in the league. Who would you take? And Karl-Anthony Towns. Was the consensus that most people would have taken Karl-Anthony Towns over Anthony Davis last year, right? And I think he heard about that, and I think he kind of was like, hey, I'm better than Karl-Anthony Towns.
For me, it's not even close.
Yeah, I think Towns just has a lot to grow still, and you've seen that potential sometimes. I don't know. I don't think Anthony Davis is going to get too much better than he is right now. Which, I mean, he could. He's
so
only
good.
25. It was his birthday today, actually. He turned 25 today.
Yeah. Shout out. Anthony Davis.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Anthony
25,
Davis.
Anthony.
Jack Rozier thinks you're going to be second in the MVP voting.
I do.
So who's your third guy then?
Okay. I know I'm seeming like a huge Raptors Canadian kid here, but Frank and Diane's kid, DeMar DeRozan.
Frank and Diane.
This guy, his dad's name is actually Frank, and his mom's name is actually Diane.
Frank and Diane DeRozan birthed their son,
DeMar
DeRozan, who is going to be
Double D
third in the MVP voting this year, you think?
No, yeah, I mean...
Yeah. It's a case. They're the best team in the East, right?
One of my favorite NBA TV personalities, Charles Barkley.
Chuck's an idiot.
He's always... Yeah. He's an idiot, but he's a great TV personality. Okay. It's like... He thinks the Raptors might make the finals this year, which, I mean, we'll get into that at some point. And he's also, like... DeRozan is the most underappreciated star in the league. And I tend to agree with him. Like, the guy... He's transformed his game this year. He's shooting the three.
Yeah.
And he's...
Props to him for that.
He's an elite scorer. Yeah. He's always been an elite scorer, and nobody's ever really respected him for that.
Well, the last 3 years he's been an elite scorer, I think you could say.
Yeah. His assist numbers are up, rebounds are up.
Yeah.
Still getting to the line.
Oh, yeah.
And he's passing the ball out of double teams really well.
Yeah, but, like, we used to see glimpses of kind of, like, sharing the ball DeMar, right? Like, we get glimpses of him moving it.
Yeah.
And then we'd say, man, playmaking DeMar's, like...
Good.
Primo DeMar, right? And then now it's really just become him, right? Yeah. He's really just become an all-around superstar in the league, and I agree. I don't think either of those guys should have more votes than LeBron James, though.
Yeah, LeBron's a funny one for me. Like,
you can talk about team record, I guess, right? That's the knock on LeBron most people are going to have. There's his month of January that everyone seems to have an issue with, but...
There's no debate. He's the best player. Like, plain and simple, whatever.
MVP. Most valuable player.
Dylan Foster's favorite player, LeBron James.
Yeah.
But the thing about the league, people just get bored with the same old story, and that's the thing.
It's LeBron fatigue.
That's the way
right?
it is.
He's been the best player in the league for probably 13 years now. I get it.
If he won it every year, it'd be like, who the hell cares?
They should change it to the LeBron James award.
Let's have Harden in the talks for 4 years in a row and then just rob him every year.
How funny would that be if he didn't win this year, though?
That would be hilarious. I mean, I don't. So
I got LeBron as my third, and it's just as simple as if you put any other player on that Cavs team, they're not as good.
Yeah.
If you exchange LeBron James for anybody in the league, that Cavs team is not as good. And if that's not the definition of the most valuable player in the league, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that point.
And then my third guy is Kevin Durant. I really am not proud to say it. He's the second best player in the world. With Steph out, I bet he tears up the last 20 games of the season. We've seen him turn it on when he wants to turn it on. Defensively, he's in talks for Defensive Player of the Year because he's been so active, offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
He's just an all-around
We've seen his defensive game emerge as he's being a Warrior. Even in OKC.
His last year in OKC, he was a great defender, too.
And quite honestly, I'm not going to say anything bad about Kevin Durant because the last thing I want is some subtweets from one of his
some burner account coming at 2 peas in a pod.
I don't have anything bad to say about Kevin Durant.
I do.
So.
Let's Kevin Durant burner accounts. Let's go at it because I got some issues. At me at 2 peas in a _pod.
Plug.
Yeah. It's your boy.
So, I think it's fair to say Harden is the MVP. But you had to put some nominees in there.
Anyone that's gonna debate it just hasn't watched the league in the last. It's all about stories, right? Harden could have been the MVP the last 3 years, maybe the last 4 years at least.
Yeah.
And like, there's the real discussion now is, could he be a unanimous MVP?
Maybe.
I don't think we've ever had a player steal the MVP so early in the season and just run with it.
I know.
Like, it's always been, even when Steph Curry went at this and that, the other thing.
Here's a conspiracy theory for you.
Okay.
This may or may not be a hot take.
Okay. We gotta have a conspiracy pod at some point.
What if he does end up losing it this year? Does he shave the beard?
No.
If Gillette,
those are his powers.
If Gillette comes to me and I'm James Harden, we'll give you whatever million to shave your beard.
No.
Then he comes back that year, wins MVP. What are people going to say?
Have you seen him without a beard? Okay, pause this, listeners. Pause this podcast right now, okay? Open up a new tab on your computer. Type in James Harden without a beard, okay? I'm just gonna let you do that for a second. Tell me that's not the ugliest person you've ever seen in the world. That dude needs a beard. His face does not work without a beard. It's
not going to look pretty. But it's all about winning the MVP. I'm just saying.
I think the powers come from the beard. I think the powers are from the beard.
No. It restricts his head. He can't turn it.
Disagree. He doesn't need to. His neck's too fat anyways. He's not very athletic looking. Like, he looks like Rockets Lowry a little bit. Or like early Raptors Lowry. Like, him and Lowry, Harden's a chunky dude.
Him and Lowry definitely meet up at like Tim's for some Timbits.
Yeah. Harden, don't shave the beard. Shaving the beard's not the way to go.
All right, that's not the answer, but it's just a thought.
It was just a thought. Okay, so those are our individual awards. So I got Donovan Mitchell as my Rookie of the Year, Harden as my MVP, Vic as my Most Improved, Casey as the coach. I want to say Spo, but it's probably Casey. Jack, you got Ben Simmons as the Rookie, Harden as the MVP, Embiid or Paul George as the defensive. Paul George is the defensive. And then Gary Harris is your Most Improved.
Yes.
And then Quinn Snyder is your coach.
If they make the playoffs. But they're going to.
Yeah, Utah's going to make the playoffs. If you listen to the last pod, I think we both had Utah in, did we not?
I had Utah in.
Yeah, we both had Utah in. And then, so let's talk about some team awards from 2 Peas in a Pod awards here. Who's your underachiever of the year? Let's hear your 3 nominees first, and then we'll hear your winner.
Okay. So I have the Milwaukee Bucks. It's my first underachiever.
Okay.
All 3 of mine are teams as a whole.
Okay.
Milwaukee, OKC, which obviously everybody knows that. But the one that I'm gonna give this award to is Detroit. Like, you look at Detroit and it's like,
interesting.
Why? Like, if Drummond's the second best player on your team, second highest paid, it's like, I don't know if you can win with that. Like, why are you paying top dollar for a guy that just gets you defensive rebounds and can protect the rim? Like, you don't pay an elite like number for that.
Yeah, that's
like, you can get that for cheap.
So would you say maybe? Yeah. So you think that's all Stan Van Gundy's fault this year then?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, I think Stan Van Gundy's job's got to be on the line, and quite honestly,
coaching or front office or both.
Both. They need to get. Okay. I think they need to get rid of him.
Interesting.
And my biggest point with them is how bad has Blake Griffin looked ever since he first got there. They won 4 in a row. He looks horrible. You want to talk about a guy that needs to evolve his game and maybe get other guys involved. Like, the ball, other than Melo, who stalls out an offense more than Blake Griffin?
I'm a big Blake Griffin guy.
He stalled. Yeah, I know you are.
For what he is, he's a 4. He's a solid 4 that could be playing the 5 in today's day and age, right?
Yeah.
The numbers he puts up assist-wise, the points he scores, the rebounds he gets, he's a very unique player that I don't think he gets enough credit for being so unique. You know, he hits game-winning threes early in. I think an interesting take I could almost take from that, instead of saying it's Detroit, how about the player / front office, or the coach / front office job? I think that could be the underachiever of the year. Just because you look at a guy like Stan Van Gundy, I like him as a coach. The moves he's making in the front office, I don't like at all. You look at just wait a second. Look at the Clippers this year. They shouldn't have made the playoffs with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, right? But they took the front office job away from Doc Rivers, told him to be a coach only. Jerry West and the GM over there took over, started making those moves, bringing in guys, bringing all that stuff in, right? I think we're coming to a point in the league where that GM/coach thing, throw it out the window. It just doesn't work. Like people try to make an argument for Pop, but that guy behind the curtain, RC
Buford.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's the one that runs the offense. Pop definitely has a say because he's Greg Popovich.
Yeah,
but he's just a coach.
I don't think if I'm a GM in the NBA and I have a chance to get Blake Griffin on my team in the Eastern Conference, I don't care. I'm doing it, and I'm not even a huge Blake guy. But if you're the Pistons and you have Drummond and Blake, and you can't make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, there's something wrong with that picture.
I agree. I think you just got to settle for John Wall and
John Wall and his 4 knees.
Yeah. John Wall with that supermax, Blake Griffin with his supermax, and then toss Drummond on there with the supermax, and then sign a bunch of G League players and see what happens.
I guess. What's your overachiever?
Underachievers, right?
Underachiever. My bad.
So my 3 candidates are the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Which everyone thinks they're supposed to be bad. They didn't have any incentive to tank this year. They traded their pick away, to the Celtics a long time ago. Now it's in Cleveland. They should have been good, but they're just not good, but like better. And they're not. They're worse than the Bulls. Yeah. If you would have told me the Nets are worse than the Bulls, I'd have been ecstatic, because if this pick turns into something for Cleveland, it makes me happier. And I love watching them lose. Every time I look at a box score and it see Brooklyn lose, it just makes me a little bit happier.
Shout out to my boy Nick Stauskas, who is going to be a great TSN analyst next year.
Yeah, if he's not getting minutes in Brooklyn, I don't know where he's getting minutes.
Toronto.
No.
He's gonna get a seat next to Matty D.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be the third guy with Jack Armstrong and Matty D for sure. So then my second underachiever of the year is the Charlotte Hornets. They made that move for Dwight, and was supposed to revitalize his career.
Playing unreal.
Yeah, and they're still terrible.
Yeah, he's a cancer.
I agree. If Dwight makes the Hall of Fame, we're gonna have a podcast about why Dwight should not be in the Hall of Fame.
It's not if, it's when. He's gonna make the Hall of Fame. Like, there's no denying that.
Yeah, I don't think he should. But Charlotte, yeah, Dwight's having a great year. Like Shmuck's Sunday hot take, even with the greatest step backer of all time, they're still trash. They're terrible. They're not even in the playoff picture. They haven't been in the playoff picture for 2 months. What is happening? And they got all these.
They're having a phenomenal March.
So
Kemba, bro.
Like they're
Kemba
not.
March.
They're not going to be close. They're not going to be close. With a guy like Batum, you're paying $20 million a year. A guy like Kid Gilchrist, you're paying $16 million a year. Cody Zeller's making $12 million a year. This is an unpopular opinion. Get Jordan the fuck out of there. Michael Jordan has been a brutal GM.
Frank Kaminsky's been a bright spot.
No, he hasn't. They picked him like what? Top 5?
Shout out to my boy Kellen Gillick.
Sorry. Kellen's our buddy Kellen's a huge Hornets fan.
No, he's a huge Frank the Tank fan.
Yeah,
he went to Boston to watch
a Hornets game.
He went to Boston to watch a Hornets game,
and they got mangled. They got absolutely mangled.
Sorry, Kel.
Because they're terrible. Okay. They've just been so bad. I wanted them to be good. I wanted to see, like, if Dwight could have had this second act of his career and like made a playoff push and made some noise in the playoffs, but no, he's a 12 seed or whatever. Like,
yeah,
God, so bad. So, but my winner for underachiever of the year, Carmelo Anthony.
Melo, just singling him out.
Because I love the way. Maybe he should be Billy Donovan. I don't know. Honestly, Billy Donovan / Melo. Like, I love the construction of the Oklahoma City roster, aside from Melo.
Yeah.
If they honestly cut Melo today, I think they would be a better team. He's Dwight. Like, him and Dwight Howard should go play in Brooklyn together. Like, I'm so sick and tired of watching Russ have to give him the ball and then watch him jab step 12 times, clocks down to 2, and then hucks up a long 2 and misses it because he's shooting like 38% from the field this year. 36? I think it's 36%. That's so bad. And he still has the ego where he thinks it's ridiculous for him to come off the bench. He shouldn't even get minutes. I'm so upset with just how bad Melo's like fit there. If he could have deferred and been the catch and shoot guy, played the 4, come off the bench, been the spark plug, whatever, it'd be fine. But no, he insists on playing the 3. He insists on being in the starting lineup. He insists on getting the same touches that Paul George and Westbrook were. It bothers me to no extent. And to Oklahoma City's defense, they've been better the second half of the year. But it's because they stopped giving Melo the ball as much. Up until the All-Star break, they were all averaging 17 shots a game. All 3 of them. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook's your number 1. Paul George is your 1A, and Melo should be a role player. I don't care how much he's getting paid. I don't care how big his ego is. I don't care how good he was at Syracuse. Whatever. He shouldn't be the guy.
Yeah. I gotta admit, it actually kind of depresses me talking about Melo on this podcast.
I know! That's the effect he has on people. And like
Melo will make you depressed.
I was when it was the whole him and Phil Jackson thing last year, I was completely on Melo's side. I think Phil Jackson's a tool. That's for a different time. I don't like Phil Jackson at all. And I think Melo was in the right, and I wish he went to Portland or something. I just wish he would defer. I wish he could change and evolve with the game.
He should have retired. Like, he should have just retired. They would have hung his jersey in New York and it all would have been well.
Get James Dolan out of New York and bring him back. Like, that's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, I think he's having a negative effect on the team.
Yeah, I agree.
And for them to be a 7 seed right now, I still think they'll be a 3 seed.
Yeah.
But it's Melo's fault.
Yeah.
Or Billy Donovan's fault. And we can talk about Billy Donovan a little bit just because with Paul George and Russell Westbrook, 2 of the top 10 players in the league on a team, and you're a 7 seed, like, it looks like he's trying to play a college style of offense, and Russell Westbrook's like, why? I think you need to make a playbook for Russ. I don't think you can bring your Gators playbook over.
Think about Russ, though. Like, it's fair to single out Melo, and I agree, but even look at Russ with Oladipo. Like, Russ and Oladipo didn't work.
Paul George looks fine, though.
Yeah, that's true. But Paul George is on another level. Like, he's no Melo or Vic.
That's what I mean, though. So if you can have those 2 players be the show,
it might be hard to play with Westbrook. Right?
I think, and that's the thing. I talked about it a little bit on the first pod, where I don't know if you could win a championship with Russ as your guy. Like, you might have to wait till Russ is 40 and then have him as your backup point guard on whatever team.
Yeah.
But you need a better shot with him and Paul George without.
Yeah.
Like, take away Melo's 15 shots a game.
Yeah.
They're a better team. Give him to Steven Adams, hell. Like, let him dunk the ball a few more times.
Yeah.
I even like some of the people off their bench. Like Grant. I'm a huge fan of Jeremy Grant.
You wanna talk like scariest looking player of the year award? Probably Steven Adams.
Man,
guy's a freak.
I love him. I love Steven Adams. I think he's rocking it. I think the Kiwi's rocking the long hair and the beard. I dig it.
Yeah.
I think Draymond's uglier looking.
Yeah.
I think he's gross. Okay, sorry about my Melo tangent. That went a little longer than I expected, but I'm just...
Yeah.
It just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because watching Golden State and OKC play, that game Melo went out in the first quarter, OKC pummeled him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because Melo went out in the fourth quarter. And, like, I get the idea of him being a threat in the playoffs and someone having to guard him. Like, you need to put Clay on him, you need to put KD on him or whatever. That's kind of the idea. I just don't think he's a threat at all.
Yeah.
I hope he changes my mind. I genuinely hope he starts knocking down shots in the playoffs and makes him a threat, but I just don't see it happening. So Melo's my underachiever of the year. Who's yours? Did we say who yours was? We just made your nominees, didn't we?
No, it's Detroit.
It's Detroit, right?
Straight up.
Yeah,
I'm done.
right,
I think they need to. That ship has sailed in Detroit. They gotta get
John Wall. That's what they gotta do.
They get some new faces and old 4-knee John Wall in there. And
you heard it here first. For the 3rd podcast in a row, John Wall needs to go to Detroit. Damian
Lillard needs to go to New York.
That's stupid. I don't like that.
I like that a lot. I'm gonna speak that one into existence.
So let's talk about overachievers now. Let's lighten the mood to finish this podcast off. We'll get a little happier about it. Who do you got for your 3 overachievers?
So, my 3 nominees: Portland.
Portland's been
just as a whole
a surprise, a very big surprise,
including Dame.
Yeah,
first time All-Star. The Rockets and Toronto. I think my top 2 are Toronto and the Rockets. Like, Toronto coming into this year, we didn't really know what they were going to be because it was like they had to sign Serge and Lowry, and it was like, oh, are we going to give Lowry a max? Like, should we be paying this guy kind of thing? And everybody did. It was kind of up in the air. But now you look back and you're like, wow, like Masai Ujiri's a mastermind.
It's a good move.
And it ended up working out. I mean, we'll see what happens in the future, but I've liked it this year.
Yeah, it worked out really well for them.
And the emergence of Freddie.
yeah, the most improved player of the year, Fred VanVleet.
Fred VanVleet accounts for like half of that. And I think the biggest one for me is the Rockets. Like,
yeah, bro.
You got James Harden, who we all know is a stud, and he's a really good second vote getter for MVP. Like, he's a good runner-up.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Chris Paul and two ball-dominant guys. How's this going to work? But it's worked. It's worked better than anybody could have expected. Like, Chris Paul...
They're better than Golden State. That's all you got to say.
Both of them are having MVP caliber seasons. Chris Paul has instilled some defensive prowess into their team and what they're doing.
The second act of Chris Paul's career has been... I think this is what it's going to be, right?
Yeah. Hall of Famer.
Oh.
No doubt.
First ballot.
No doubt.
Elite of the elite. And I hope they can get this monkey off their back. I hope they can win a few playoff series and see what happens.
The one thing that bothers me about them is they do play a lot of ISO, but
it works.
I mean, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's funny because the metrics say that ISO ball is the worst kind of ball you can play other than mid-range post. Like, so Melo's the worst metric player ever, but the Rockets play ISO ball better than anybody because you put the best ISO player in the league with 4 shooters on the court. Let him break it down, see what happens, right?
With one of the other best ISO players in the league, one of the other, like Chris Paul is Chris Paul is an underrated ISO player.
I think so.
And to his credit, he was a guy that shot a lot of deep twos and kind of did his own thing, but he's shooting a lot of threes, making a lot of threes, and he's getting layups.
I think his deep twos are going to help in the playoffs a little bit too, because last year they had this run and gun style of offense, and then Popovich being the guy he was just like, all right, guys, chase him off the line and protect the paint, force him to shoot mid-range jump shots, and they wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it, and they lost the series because of it. If you add Chris Paul to that team last year, I think they'd probably get out of that series.
Yeah. And the thing I love the most is the fact that you can have Harden or Chris Paul on the floor at all times.
And that was Daryl Morey's big thing, right? You have 2 of the best point guards in the league on the floor 100% of the time. You're probably doing okay.
Yeah, exactly. So who did you have for your overachiever nominees?
My overachiever nominees, my third one, Greg Popovich.
If they make the playoffs or just in general?
Just in general, even. Like, just to be in the talk this late in the year without Kawhi, with Aldridge being your best player, like, who? Pau Gasol being the second best player?
Don't do Aldridge like that.
Aldridge is not he's a primetime player.
He's a PTP.
He's a PTP.
He's a PTP.
But he's definitely not a guy you want to drag a team to the playoffs, and he hasn't had to. He's played his role perfectly this year, and it's been enough, right? You got guys like DeJounte Murray playing a huge role, starting at the point guard spot. You got David Bertans. You got Danny Green and Patty Mills still putting up buckets. And I think all of that is because Popovich is just Greg Popovich. You know, he's so great.
It's just a system there. Like, they plug anybody in, right?
Because of him, right? So, my second overachiever of the year, the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. They've been a cool story.
Like, awesome. So great. And their style of play, no one likes to watch it, except for me, it seems like. Slow it down, grind it up, get in you, play the defense. Who knew Donovan Mitchell was going to come in and average 20 a game, like step right into that Gordon Hayward gap kind of thing? They've been great. They've been so much fun to watch. And Quinn Snyder, your guy, right?
Yeah, here's my one question to you. Is it possible that they have a potential Coach of the Year candidate, Rookie of the Year candidate, and Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Rudy Gobert?
If Gobert doesn't miss the 41 games he misses or whatever, for sure.
Then probably, right?
But because of the games missed, I don't think you can have Gobert in there. But yeah, but they definitely are in talks for that.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if they make the playoffs and Mitchell gets Rookie of the Year and Snyder gets Coach of the Year. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
It could happen. It's a possibility.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
But my biggest overachiever of the year, of course, knowing me, I'm a huge GM guy. Dream job would to be in the front office of some GM, and also, you know me, favorite player LeBron James for always. Favorite team, Cleveland Cavaliers. Kobe Altman, overachiever of the year.
The GM for the Cavs.
The GM for the Cavs, yeah. Kobe Altman, just with the garbage hand he was dealt at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, Dan Gilbert's a tool for one to not bring back Dave Griffin.
He wants to sell the team to LeBron James.
He should want to sell the team to LeBron James. So to not bring back the GM, say, okay, so this assistant GM kid, shove him in, see what happens. First thing that happens, Kyrie says, I don't want to be here anymore. That's like your first day on the job. Kyrie, you get. Oh yeah, and Kyrie said he's threatening knee surgery if he doesn't get traded.
Mm-hmm. In his defense, he was going to be shipped to Phoenix. I would have done the same thing.
He should have shipped him to Phoenix. I think, but that's besides the point. So you move him, you get IT, who at the time you thought was going to be okay, wasn't. Yeah. You get Dre Crowder.
Yeah.
Not okay.
No.
You get Ante Zizic. Has seen 8 minutes all year.
It's 8 solid minutes.
8 good minutes of garbage time. But the Brooklyn pick.
Yeah. Which they kept.
But everyone thinks Brooklyn's going to be okay. You don't think the Brooklyn pick's going to be good. You think it's going to be 12, 15, whatever. You're not sure.
Yeah.
Right? Come to deadline, IT's played 12 games.
Yeah.
So you've been the GM for half a season. You got Jay Crowder, who's having the worst year of his career since Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Isaiah Thomas, having the worst year of his career since ever.
Since last year.
Well, no, ever.
Oh, yeah, last year was his career. Yeah,
yeah, ever, right? Like, you're kind of cuffed. You got Channing Frye making $8 million a year. You got Shumpert making $10 million a year. You got Thompson making 16. You got JR making 16. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to flip them all, and I'm going to revamp the entire team, and I've been on this job for 40 games.
Yeah.
The dude did an amazing job, and we haven't seen the full effect of what they're going to be with Kevin Love back yet.
Yeah.
But just the moves he made to get LeBron back engaged, to get these guys all buying in. We'll see the playoff push they can make when it comes to beating the Raptors and seeing if they can make the finals and stuff like that. If they can do that with this group, with Hood and Hill and the 2 Lakers guys, Clarkson and Nance.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a team overhaul like this and be so successful.
Yeah.
I think LeBron has a huge part in that, but the only reason LeBron gets to be as engaged as he is because of the moves Kobe Altman made.
Yeah. And I think this team now that is constructed is similar to teams that LeBron James has dragged to the finals in the past.
Yeah, but younger and bouncier, it seems. And LeBron's a better player now.
They're similar in the sense that there's not, these alpha guys, right? Like when he was Wade and Bosh and Kyrie and Love. Obviously Love's still in the picture.
Yeah, I think we're forgetting about Kevin Love, and I think everyone's forgetting about Kevin Love. Kevin Love played so well at the beginning of the year this year. The reason he made the All-Star team is because Isaiah Thomas wasn't in the lineup. Kevin Love got told by Ty Lue, he said, "Hey, you're our second option. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not LeBron, it's you." Right? And I think Kevin Love said finally he knew where he was supposed to be. He knew what to do. He got to play. He didn't love playing the 5, but he got to play the 4. He was killing it at the 4. That's what he should be. And when he comes back, that's what he's going to get to be. And then you're going to have guys like Clarkson and Hood and Hill and Nance who get
step up,
and Korver and JR who get to be that third option, who get to be those role players, right? But when you got LeBron and Love as the 1-2, as your 1-2 punch, and then you got an actual team of role players now that we haven't really seen LeBron have this depth since the early years in Miami when they brought over those veterans in. But those veterans were getting old. Shane Battier was losing at that point. Rashard Lewis wasn't Rashard Lewis anymore. We got these young guys who
that can play significant minutes, right? Because they can run up and down,
and they're bouncy. And LeBron loves playing with these bouncy guys. And the fact that he kept the Brooklyn pick is a cherry on top of the icing that is this wonderful masterpiece he's made at the deadline.
You know what it is? It's Trae Young in the bank.
It's not going to be Trae Young. It's Michael Porter Jr.
It's going to be Trae Young.
We'll see. I'm
excited. Remember this.
I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see where that pick goes. And if it's LeBron, everyone thinks LeBron wants to trade it, but if he can get a guy let's say Trae Young does play like he's supposed to. Let's say they get a guy
it's definitely a topic for
Porter,
another day,
right? If you can make this happen, your first year on the job, I'd say you're overachieving.
Yeah, for sure. So I had the Rockets and Chris Paul, and you had Kobe Altman. Two solid choices.
I think both of them have overachieved. I think both of them have changed the game, right? They changed the landscape of the league. And I don't think at the beginning of the year you'd say Kobe Altman would have had a it looked like they were doomed, right?
Yeah.
And I think he turned it around.
Yeah.
So there's our individual awards and our team awards. I think we're gonna close out our show with Shmuck's stat of the day. So what do you got for us on this fine day for your stat?
Well, did you know that there are only 2 escalators in the state of Wyoming?
In the entire state of Wyoming, there's only 2 escalators?
Yep.
There's 500,000 people in Wyoming.
Yep.
So you're taking the stairs.
Taking the stairs.
Wow, that's Well, there you go.
Gotta be in shape if you're going to Wyoming.
Yeah, better be ready to take the stairs if you're going to Wyoming.
Better be ready, or you're going to be in shape.
So there you go. 2 escalators in the entire state of Wyoming. You learn something new every day, listeners. Hopefully that wasn't the only thing you learned today. But if it is, now you know.
If it is, that's pretty key.
The more you know. All right. Thanks for listening once again. We'll see you next time on 2 Peas in a Pod.